My sister has dropped her kids at my door every Saturday for 6 years while she works. I found out where she actually goes, and this Saturday nobody is answering. For 6 years, my sister Danielle dropped her 2 kids at my door every Saturday at 8 a.m. sharp. Weekend cleaning shift, she'd say. Double pay downtown. Then she'd kiss their heads and pull out of my driveway before I could ask a single question. I never minded. Emma was 8, Liam was 5, and I loved them like my own. Danielle picked them up every Saturday at 6 p.m., handed me $40 for snacks, and drove off. 200-something Saturdays. I never questioned it. Then a month ago, Emma was coloring at my kitchen table when she said it. Aunt Rachel, Mommy has a big house now. I laughed. Mommy has an apartment, sweetie. No, the white one with the pool. We're not allowed to talk about it. I kept my voice light. Who told you that? Mommy, she said if I talk about the house, we can't come here anymore. My stomach dropped. Danielle lived in a 1-bedroom above a laundromat. There was no pool. That night I did something I'm not proud of. We'd shared a phone plan for years, and I still had her location toggled on from when Dad was sick. I opened the app. The dot wasn't downtown. It wasn't at any office. It was parked at a house in Oakmont, the nicest neighborhood in the county. The next Saturday, after she dropped the kids, I had my neighbor watch them for an hour, and I drove to the address. It was exactly what Emma described. White colonial, circular driveway, a pool glinting behind a wrought iron gate. And there was Danielle, in a sundress I'd never seen, laughing on the porch with a man in his 50s. He handed her a glass of wine. He kissed her. I sat in my car and watched my sister live a life I didn't know existed. I didn't confront her. I didn't know how, so I said nothing. I watched the kids the next Saturday, and the next, and I waited for something I couldn't name. It came this Saturday. She dropped the kids at 8 a.m. like always, but she was different. She hugged Emma too long. She knelt and held Liam's face in both hands. You be so good for Aunt Rachel, okay? Promise me. Promise, Mommy. She had tears in her eyes when she backed out of the driveway. I should have known then. 6 p.m. came. No, Danielle. 6:30. I called, straight to voicemail. 7 p.m. I texted, where are you? Kids are waiting. Nothing. By 7:30, Emma was at the window. Is Mommy coming? Of course she is, baby. 8 p.m. I called 11 times. Everyone went dark. Liam was crying because he was hungry and scared and wanted his mom. And that's when the app showed me the dot again. Oakmont, the White House. I put both kids in my car and I drove. The whole street was lined with cars. String lights hung in the trees. A valet stand sat at the end of the driveway. Through the gate, I could see a white tent, rows of folding chairs, flowers everywhere. A wedding. I walked up to the gate holding both kids' hands. A woman in a headset stopped me. Can I help you? I'm here for the bride. Are you on the guest list? I'm her sister. Her face flickered. I'm sorry, she told us she doesn't have a sister. Emma tugged my arm. Aunt Rachel? That's Mommy's voice. Because it was. Danielle stood at the front, under the tent, in a white dress, holding the hands of the man from the porch. And I heard him say into a microphone, laughing, for those who don't know, Danielle's the only woman I've ever met with no baggage. No exes, no drama. The crowd chuckled. No kids, just her. The crowd went, ah. Liam heard his mother's voice and did what any 5-year-old would do. He ripped his hand out of mine and ran. Mommy. 100 heads turned. I watched my sister's face as her son sprinted down the aisle in his dinosaur shirt, arms out, screaming for her at her own wedding. I watched the groom look down at the boy, then at Danielle, then at the little girl standing frozen beside me. Danielle, he said, letting go of her hand. Who is this? She opened her mouth. Nothing came out, so I answered for her. I walked Emma down that aisle, loud enough for every guest to hear. This is Liam. He's 5. This is Emma. She's 8. They're your bride's children, the ones she's been hiding at my house every Saturday for 6 years, so you'd think she didn't have any. The groom stepped back, and standing there in her white dress, in front of 200 people, my sister finally had nowhere left to drop them.